I'm changing my career and it's a pretty scary process for me, so I want to document my thought processes during this time as well as my feelings and my emotions. To start, a little bit about myself. I graduated undergrad in May of 2021, so just last year, with a bachelor's in accounting. I started full-time in accounting right after I graduated, but I only worked for a bit before things just fell apart and I had to stop. Accounting was not where I wanted to be or where I wanted to continue my career, so now I'm looking to become a nurse. And I know that accounting and nursing have basically nothing in common. They're two completely different worlds. All the courses that I took for accounting don't really overlap with nursing. I have to spend a year taking prerequisite courses to apply to a nursing program, and the nursing program itself takes 1.5 years. So the total time for me to become a nurse is 2.5 years. That's not a lot of years compared to someone becoming a doctor or something, but it's a relatively long time. I'm 23.5 right now, so by the time I'm finished, I'll be 26. And just thinking about my age when I start my new career makes me anxious, because I know a lot of people who graduate undergrad and become nurses right away. So I feel like for me to become a nurse at 26 years old, I'm about 4 years behind my peers, and I don't like the feeling of being behind. It makes me feel as if I somehow failed, and at the same time I can't do anything to catch up to them. The other part of me knows that I should be grateful that I have the opportunity to change my career, because I am at a relatively financially secured place to do that. I have the time and I have the opportunity to do that. So I try to be grateful, but that is not always the case. I'm also proud of myself for doing so, because I don't see myself in accounting. My original plan was to stick it out for a couple of years just to save up money and have some experience under my belt, but I realized that if I don't see myself in accounting, then there's no use wasting a couple of years doing accounting just to quit later on. I think it's better to step out now, to quit now, and to start over, rather than invest more of my time and my energy into that profession just to quit. There's this term in psychology known as the sunk cost fallacy, where people continue to invest their time, energy, and money into something that they know won't work out just because they have already invested so much of their time, energy, and money. I recognize that with myself for accounting. During my junior and my senior year, I had doubts about accounting, but because I was already so deep into it, I was pretty much done with a major and just needed several courses to be able to get my degree. I thought that it would be better to just finish it. I also had an internship and a full-time offer lined up, so it was too good, or in my mind at that time, it was too good to pass up. But now I realize that it's better to get out now rather than wait until later and quit when you invest more of your years into something that you know you don't want to do. One thing that has always been a concern of mine and something that makes me anxious is money. Taking all the prerequisite courses as well as being in the nursing program itself would cost tens of thousands of dollars, and that is not cheap, at least for me. I don't have too much saved up, so I think this journey will actually deplete all of the savings that I have. I'm also trying to work towards financial independence. I'm all about the FIRE movement, FIRE, which stands for Financially Independent Retire Early, and I know that this will set me back. If I were to stay in accounting, then I know that if I work for 10, 15 years, don't spend frivolously and save as much as I can, I will work my way towards being financially independent. But because I have to spend money on becoming a nurse, I know that it will set me back and I won't achieve this goal as quickly. I know people say to enjoy the journey and not focus on the destination, but having no money problems or not having a lot of money problems will reduce a lot of the worry and stress that people tend to go through. I know personally I feel pressured to have certain milestones by a certain age. I want to be able to afford my own space, have my own house. I want to be able to afford kids because I do want them in the nearest future. So not having an income and having to spend money instead makes me anxious. Also, I know a lot of people my age, so I was born in 1998, and I know a lot of YouTubers that are very financially well off. There's Best Dressed, there's Nate O'Brien. He made a video about how he plans to retire at 24. There's Mr. Beast, there's Jack on the Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan, he's 23. Graham Stephan's girlfriend, Macy, she's also 23, and they are doing very well. They are very successful. So I tend to compare myself to them because I follow a lot of them, or at least I used to. I know that that's not the group that I should probably be comparing myself to, because there's also a lot of my peers who are not doing as well as I am. So now I'm sucked into this comparison game, and I realize that, but at the same time it's hard to not compare yourself to people because it helps you see where you're at. Some people would suggest to not compare yourself to anyone else and to try to focus on yourself. There's the saying, compare yourself to the person you were yesterday. And so that's what I try to do. But then I compare myself to the person I was yesterday, and I feel like the yesterday's version of me was better off. Not literally yesterday, but when I had my accounting job, I was in a more financially stable condition. So comparing myself to my historical self kind of also makes me feel like a failure. Then that makes me think maybe I should stop focusing so much on myself and try to help out others instead. I feel like I'm naturally pretty selfish. I tend to think about my own desires and my own needs, so it's hard for me to think about others. I think that's part of the reason why I'm doing nursing, because I want to be exposed to what other people are going through and the struggles that they are facing. I want to be able to have a direct impact in their lives, hopefully in a positive way. But saying that out loud makes it sound pretty selfish for me to become a nurse. So I don't know what I'm doing. I think one thing that God is trying to tell me through this situation is to trust in Him more and not to rely on worldly things. I chose to go into accounting because I knew that it was safe and stable and I would get paid well. And like I said before, finances have always been one of my worries and something that I stress about. So going into accounting helped alleviate that stress. Even though I did not like the work that I was doing, at least I was getting paid well. At least I would be able to be independent and afford living by myself. When that was taken away from me, I realized that I don't have as much control over my life as I thought I did. I went through a self-help phase, and one of the main lessons that the self-help industry promotes is that you have ultimate power over your own fate. And I think that's true to a certain extent, but there are things that come up that are completely outside of your control. I see that as a reason to trust a source that is bigger than me, to trust in God. Another reason why I'm anxious about this process is because I feel like I might not enjoy nursing as I think I would. Currently, I don't have too much exposure to being a nurse. I do have experience in a hospital setting for a short period of time, and I have friends who are nurses, so I have an idea of what they do their day-to-day, but since I haven't experienced that myself, I don't fully know what it's like. I'm not afraid to give up a career and to start over from square one as long as I have the finances to do so. I don't really pride myself on making it to a certain level, having a certain title, but I do want to be able to support myself. So I'm not scared about not liking nursing and changing my career again. I just don't want to deplete my savings a second time. I don't really know how to end this or have any wise words to say. These are just some thoughts that are going through my head at this time, and I just wanted to share that.